My next guest, you know who he is. He's the newest member of the UFC's middleweight roster. Of course, I'm talking about Deron Winn back here on the program. Deron, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you, James? Sorry, I'm trying to get a little bit more light in here for us. It's kind of gloomy out here in California today, so
Yeah, a bit of a rainy one or what?
yeah. It's not very common, but got one today.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter because you are a member of the UFC roster now, man. Congratulations. When did this all come together? How soon after the Golden Boy fight did you end up getting signed?
After the Golden Boy fight, we started kind of exploring our options, and we were basically just trying to see who was going to offer me the most money, and ultimately, I always wanted to sign with the UFC just because of just being a fan for so long, and I think that for like who I am as a fighter and who I am as a person, it'll match me the best. So you know we had talks with like Golden Boy didn't offer me anything, so I don't know what they're doing, and then. Uh, uh, we had talked to Bellator, and we were actually even going to maybe try to get into that next Pro Fighter League tournament, but it would have been so long. It says poor connection. Okay, it would have been so long. Like their next tournament isn't going to be till like July or something. Um, so I wanted to fight before then. I fought in November, and I'd like to fight again within the next like 2 months or so. So I want to stay active now. I'm in my prime, so we kind of jumped on whatever we thought fit me best, and the UFC it was. So here I am.
How much do you think it helped getting that fight on the Golden Boy card just because you were the co-main event? And, when you were with Bellator, you were kind of buried on the prelims. Like, we didn't get to see a lot of you in terms of some of your fights before that.
Yeah, no, it was huge, man. It was kind of like I wouldn't even say it was my coming out party. I haven't even had my coming out party yet, but it was like I was like getting my foot in the door. So it was the most exposure I've ever had. It was the best opponent I've ever had, and there's always the what ifs on big prospects, right? And so when I stepped in that cage, there was a couple of things I had to do. I had to prove myself. I had to prove that I was ready because for a guy like me, it was so hard to find me fights. So I had to take that next step up to a guy like Tom Lawley. I went from a guy who was 0-0, making his pro debut just because he thought he was tough and wanted to fight me, to an established veteran in the game, a UFC veteran, a guy who's been in a lot of wars. So I had to be ready to show who I was, and I think I did that. So I did everything I was supposed to do. So I'm excited. I'm happy. Like, obviously, I wish I would have finished him, but a dub is a dub.
What was the feedback like after that fight? Because I think, for those in the know, people like myself, we know how talented you are, but I feel like a lot of newer fans really got on the Deron Winn bandwagon that night.
Yeah, I did. It's funny because I would say like MMA fans suck, bro. Because like no matter what you do, like I feel obviously I want a dominant fight against a guy who is really out of my weight class, a veteran who has fought some of the best guys in the world, like Chris Weidman and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I had a lot of good feedback. I had a lot of like, wow, who is this stud, Mini DC? Everyone says they love my power and how I press forward the whole time and stuff like that. But then I have the naysayers like, oh, he's too short, he'll never make it. Oh, he's fat, da da da, whatever. So it was definitely more positive than negative, but I still had the negative because like no matter what, no matter how good you are or what you do in this sport, there's always going to be haters. You know what I mean? So no, I had a lot of positive feedback, man, and my team was happy. And honestly, the thing is, when we talked, like we talked behind the scenes with the UFC and stuff, and they're like, wow, hold on, sorry, uh, they had a lot of guys, or they were like, they don't think that a lot of guys are gonna be able to withstand my power. Everyone was super surprised that he withstood my power the entire time because I hit him like. I think what gave him more confidence leading into like the third round was he knew I'd hit him with everything I had because like obviously for like me, I had never been able to stand there and exchange with somebody in a fight. I've never really just gotten that far, and I started getting more comfortable to where instead of like swinging and like hoping I hit him, I would like make sure that I got close enough to hit him. You know what I mean? Like I found my range. And there was a couple of times, man, I swear I hit him with everything I had. And I hit hard, and everybody at the gym tells me that, and it's the feedback I get. Like, they're like, you hit so hard, you know? And I think that he knew I was hitting with everything he had, and it wasn't putting him away. So he got more confident, you know? But a lot of people say that not because he's got like a big head and face. Like, he's got like a monstrous face. Like, that's one thing I noticed at him when I was like looking at him. Like, his head is huge. So so yeah, a lot of people don't think that a lot of guys are going to be able to withstand my power like that, and especially not at the middleweight division. Even though Tom isn't that big of a light heavyweight, you know, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that you know, as I go on, obviously I'm just going to get better and bigger and stronger and faster, and my striking is going to get better and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm hoping that I truly think I'm going to put a lot of guys away in the future.
And I've heard you talk about dropping to middleweight for a couple of years now. I know in LFA you fought, I believe, at a 190-pound catch weight. The fight you just had with Lawler was at 205. Have you done like a test cut, or I guess you're pretty confident that you can make the weight?
I'm confident, you know, just with my team and stuff. And I'm a wrestler. I've cut weight my entire life. And
you were doing that in the womb, pretty much, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. Like, first time I cut weight, I was 8 years old. Hilarious story. I was 8 years old. I was actually going down to this tournament that I'm actually taking my kids down to this weekend at Tulsa Nationals. It's like the biggest tournament for kids ever, right? And we stopped at this gym, Kenny Monday's gym. Kenny Monday's Olympic gold medalist. And we stopped at this gym, and I sat in the sauna for the first time. And I was in the sauna, like, getting my body, like, scraped off by my coach and stuff like that. So I've been cutting weight for it my life, you know? I've always been terrible at it, you know? Don't get me wrong. I've always been terrible at it because I grew up in a home where, like, you know, we were Southern cooked, fed. Like, my grandma would just cook me, you know, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese. Like, that's how I grew up, bro. You know what I mean? So I didn't grow up in this healthy, fit lifestyle family. So as I got older and I started being more successful with wrestling, I started understanding the more nutritious part of things. And so when I wrestled competitively internationally, for the most part, I wrestled 86 kilograms, which is about 190 pounds. It's 189 flat, like scratch, when we have to make scratch. So I made that in the last like 3 or 4 years. I made that like 5 or 6 times, because every time else you get 2 kilos, it'd be like 4.5 pounds, right? So, you know, I've always been close, but now with like everything, you know, with like, you know, good things. I'm good friends with Tyler Mitten, who's you know, yeah. And so, you know, he already sent me a thing to start getting my walking around weight down. And my roommate Kyle Driscoll, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's
I've interviewed 2 of your other roommates, Joe Giannetti and Luis Pena. These guys rave about Kyle, so he's the next guy I got to interview. I got to get my
the man,
AKA
bro.
quota.
You should definitely get an interview with him. He's the man, bro. He's kind of guy who moved out here. He had a so-so career. He moved out here. Now he's on a 4-5 win streak. He's a stud, bro.
Okay, well, keep tabs on that. Speaking of AKA, when we think of AKA, obviously it's such a huge gym. Who are some of the main training partners you get to work with over there? Because, you know, it's such a big gym. Is there anyone you work with a little bit more than others?
Obviously D's my boy. DC's my boy, and we're like close. Like, that's like my best friend, literally. Like, I've already talked to him on the phone this morning. Like, we talk all the time. So, but me and his relationship, it's more not necessarily like he's a great coach because we obviously coach wrestling together, but he tough and gritty, right? And then honestly, my favorite mind, and it's obviously just because like I'm a bigger prospect, I get more attention from the higher level guys, and so like really, you know, if I'm not working with DC or something, I work with Cain a lot too, who's my favorite guy to work with. He's the best coach in my opinion. Like, he's my best MMA coach I've ever had, you know? And so he's such a brilliant mind, and he teaches me a lot of like striking stuff, head movement, and trying to you know, land big combos and stuff like that, and you know, mixing my wrestling with it. So Cain, honestly, he's probably my favorite guy to work with. You know, DC is up there, close second, but me and DC we spar. He fights. He teaches me not to give up and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just a different relationship. But, you know, then we have so many studs coming up, bro. We have so many like young stars here that that it's like every round you look around, you're like, oh, you want to go? Okay. Oh, you're in the UFC? Okay. Oh, you're in Bellator? Okay. You know what I mean? So it's like every round you look around and you have a stud to go with. So it's nice, man.
You mentioned Cain Velasquez. A lot of questions, obviously, heading into his fight with Ngannou because of the time off, and he's getting up there in age a little bit. But just from your perspective, I know you'll be a little bit biased, but how's he looking? Because I sort of get the sense that he's probably the same Cain. It's just, if anything, he's probably better because he's had some time to heal some of those injuries.
Yeah, no, dude, Kane's a man. And the thing is, Kane's very smart. He's a very intelligent guy. And, he knows how to train. He takes care of his body. Like, I always mess with him because, like, we all live in Gilroy, which is right outside of San Jose. And sometimes we'll go to this gym called Ant Dogs and just get a workout in. And anytime Cain needs something, because, like, during my camp, there was a lot of time when DC, like, took that short fight with Derek Lewis. So, basically, DC's team is my team. My manager, Bob Cook, and stuff. So they all left me in the midst of my camp, like 2 weeks before my fight. So I'm like at the gym, not that I don't have a great support system at the gym, but I'm like, yo, my team's gone. But Cain didn't go the entire fight week. So I was like, yo, Cain, if you could, during my camp, come, whatever. Because we grew a bond when we were at the Ultimate Fighter show together. And he's just a great guy. And he doesn't ask for anything, but he came in, he would come to our bike workouts, he'd come watch my sparring, he would coach me, you know what I mean? So now in return, during his camp, I will, it's hard to work out by yourself sometimes. It's hard to work out at night, So I'm just there in support. And lucky for me to being there, just to be like an energy for him to help him train, I get to witness the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest heavyweight of all time. And get to witness what he does to train and pick his brain and stuff like that. But no, he's good, man. He's fine. He does things smart. I think his back's all healed up and he trains hard, bro. The thing is his cardio, he doesn't stop training. He's a man. Obviously I'm biased, but I truly believe he has the tools to finish Francis that Stipe didn't. You know what I mean? I think he puts a little bit more pressure on him. He's a better striker than Stipe. And not that I think Stipe's awesome. I've always said this. When DC was fighting Stipe, when we were at the show, it was hilarious. Because I always have this joke with like DC, like how I don't like him, but obviously I love him with all I got, But when I'll sit there and talk to Stipe, and I'm like, Stipe, usually when DC's fighting somebody, I like try to find something I don't like about him. I'm like, but you're such a good guy that I might want you to win. You know what I mean? Like just messing with him. But no, yeah, no, I think Cain's the man, bro. And he's definitely one of the most inspirational. Like he really I love to be around him, So I think he's gonna do fine. I think he's about to after DC retires, he's gonna take his belt back.
And speaking of DC, I don't know if you saw this morning, Stipe once again, has the tweet out there saying he wants to fight him before the 40th birthday. Do you think that fight happens, or do you think DC's still waiting for Brock? Because we haven't heard anything about Brock in the last couple months.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that I was either going to try to get on that March 9th card. It's in Wichita, Kansas. That's near my hometown. I'm from Kansas City. And if not, my debut will be with D. And I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't even know that. So I don't know when DC is going to fight. And, I know behind the scenes, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think he knows when he's going to fight. I don't think he knows who it's going to be. Because they're obviously offering him a lot of guys. It could be who? Stipe, John Jones, Brock, whatever.
There's a lot of options for him and not a lot of bad ones either.
There's a lot. So yeah, I don't know, bro. I think I know he wants to fight. I know I've talked to him. He's like, I'll fight him again. I don't care. He's like, I'm better than that dude. So yeah, we'll see, man.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. When are you looking to fight? Because, you mentioned the Kansas card. Cain's also fighting on that Phoenix card. I don't know if that's too short of a turnaround there, but is that?
Yeah, well, that's when I originally stated that. I was like, yo, I want to fight on this card. And so I was going to fight. It would have been cool to fight on the same card as Cain. And then my good friend, Courtney Casey, she's fighting Cynthia Cavallo or whatever. And so it would have been mad cool. It would have been really cool to fight on that card. But it was too short. It was already full. The card was already full. And so, I know when we were talking to Mick about it, he was like, man, I just don't have any openings. And so We were originally going to fight in March, but some things happened, and I think we got pushed back a little bit. So I'm hoping April. So if I don't get on that March 9th card, because I think Arjun is fighting, and Islam Makhachev is fighting on that March 9th card in Kansas, and that's like right where I'm from. So that would be very cool to get my debut and there. But I don't think we've heard anything back yet from that. And if not, I think that we're going to shoot for early April. I'm not sure what the dates are or even where the cards are, but I'm ready. I want to fight 3 to 4 times this year. So I want to start making my name this year. And but it's a perfect amount of time for me to keep getting better and prepare myself, and still have enough time in the year to fight a couple times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's it like getting to work with Arjun? Because he actually lives about 40 minutes away from where I live in Vancouver, which is
really?
kind of interesting. And I know he does cross training over there with you guys.
Yeah, he's actually. I think he's going to be at the gym today, which is cool. I was excited to hear that. He's
There
the
you go.
man.
You can tell him you talked
guy.
to a Canadian today. He'll be happy about that.
I will. He's a great dude. What's cool is because I wrestled on the Olympic circuit for a long time, and so did he. So he just made. I think he stopped after 2012 and he started fighting, but I was still in that circuit. I was the young guy in that circuit. And so they would come to Canada's national team would come to Olympic Training Center and train with us a lot. And I actually competed in Vancouver before. And so I've known Arjun for a while. So it's good to know a fellow wrestler. The good thing is we're all wrestlers. Like if you only wrestled in high school or if you wrestled in college a little bit, we all it's cool. We have that camaraderie as a team because we grew up having a team in wrestling. So it's like we all are almost like, it's like our house. It's like I feel like I'm in college again. You know what I mean? So, no, it's good to have Arjun around, man. He's a great guy. He trains hard. He's got that wrestling mentality. All wrestlers train hard. So, it's good. I mean, it's cool because, sometimes you look around, man, and it's like we'll have, anywhere from, we have, 10 to 15 guys that fight in the UFC in the gym, And a lot of times, say, Cain, DC, Big Pretty, Arjun, and Bagoy are in there. It's 5 UFC heavyweights sitting in the gym at the same day. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. Yeah, but it's cool, man. It's very, very cool to be around big guys like that. And the good thing is it's I can go with Arjun one round, and then the next round I go with Luis. You know what I mean? And it's I just get those different feels from every weight class, every size, everything. So it's awesome, man.
Who are you looking to fight in your debut? You don't strike me as the guy who's going to call anyone out, but I'm sure you have an eye on the division.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy to call people out. I really don't. I'm just ready for whoever, and they're gonna hype these people up. And my problem is, bro, is I talk a lot of shit, between us, and it'll rub people wrong. So I'm trying to take this other route, and I'm just gonna let my actions speak for themselves. And then they're gonna respect me. One thing they will do is respect me, and whoever they got for me, bro, I don't care who it is. I really don't. When we were signing, DC was let's call somebody out in the top 15. I'm let's do it. He's wait, let's try to get, he's wait, because he knows I'll do it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not scared of these dudes. I'm really not. Because the thing is, the difference between me and a lot of these guys is I've competed at the highest level, bro. I've wrestled Olympic champions. I've traveled the world and competed against the best athletes in the world already. So these dudes don't scare me. Nobody does. I respect these dudes. I respect Yo Romero. I respect Robert Whitaker. I think they're awesome. I respect Kelvin Gastelum. I think these guys are fucking amazing athletes. But they don't scare me. I'm ready to bang with them. And I might not, no way. I'm not ready for a title shot right now. I'll be real with you. I'm not. I'm ready to make some noise, and by the end of next year, I'll be ready for a title shot. Not to 2020, I'll be ready for a title shot. I'm trying to do one of those Cody Garbrandt things, fucking 5 fights, boom, give me a title shot. You know what I mean? Put people away. So they'll see. And everyone's your size, your height. You'll see. I spar with fucking 6'3", 6'4" guys all the time. You'll see. I'm different, and they'll see how I am.
Last question before I let you go. I talked about DC potentially fighting Brock. We've seen a lot of MMA fighters go over to pro wrestling recently. Matt Riddle, Ronda Rousey. Is that something you'd ever consider? Because you mentioned you don't like talking a lot of trash, but I think if it could be unleashed, I think
I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever sell out that hard. It's hard for me to see a guy like Kurt Angle, who won the epitome to me. And don't take this wrong. or I hope people don't take this wrong. I respect an Olympic champion more than I respect an MMA champion, a UFC champion. It's just because it's just been my passion my entire life, and I've seen firsthand what it truly takes. Like, bro, I didn't even sniff a team, and I was really fucking good. You know what I mean? My entire life. I didn't even make a team. More or less go make a team and then go get a medal. And not only a medal, a gold medal, it takes so much, right? So it's hard for me to see a guy like Kurt Angle sell out so much, but at the same time, I can't hate because, there's no end game in wrestling, really, unless you want to be a college coach. But no, man, I don't know. I know Jerry Briscoe. He's recruited me, and I've sat and spent a lot of time with him. He's a great, great guy. But I don't know. He was like, dude, you would kill it. He told me he'd kill it. They love your size. They love your smile, whatever. And but nah, I don't think so, man. I truly don't. I don't. But you never know. I don't know where I'm gonna be in 10 years. Hey, and if the money's right, bro, I'm in this to have a comfortable life. And if that is what it takes to have a comfortable life, then I'll do it.
Did you watch pro wrestling growing up at all?
I did when I was younger, but as I got older and I started realizing and seeing how fake it was, it's kind of turned me off of it, But I don't hate it. I think it's hilarious. I remember when we were at the show, we got front row seats to Ronda's like fucking coming out party in Vegas. It was like a sick event. I forget what it was. It was like wrestling.
I heard this story. You were with Michael Chiesa, right?
Yeah. It was sick,
I heard
bro.
this story. It was great.
It was sick, bro. It was sick. But, that's the coolest of cool. That's the coolest you can get, right? We're front row. I'm with DC, Cain, Michael Chiesa, you know what I mean? Ronda, Travis Brown's right behind us, you know what I mean? So it's like Ronda's looking at us in the crowd, you know what I mean? So it's like that's the coolest experience you can get, right? But it's like I'm not watching it on TV or anything. I know DC's like obsessed with it, but I can't
right,
do
yeah.
it.
No, I wasn't sure if that rubbed off on you or not, the wrestling stuff. So you don't really watch it then. It's more of just, hey, if you get tickets or something, you'll go check it out.
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember, even a couple weeks ago, I think DC had some tickets to go here in San Jose. I was like, nah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, it's the bar's set pretty high too. You get to see Ronda Rousey like front row. It's not going to get any better than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So.
It's not getting any better than that. Like I like Ronda better than any of those people. You know what I mean? Unless The Rock comes back or something. I have no interest.
Needs to stop making those $1 billion movies or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Right, it's crazy. So
Idiot.
That's good. Deron, dude, it was great catching up with you, man. I really appreciate the time. Congrats again on getting the UFC deal. I'm sure we'll talk once the fight gets announced. But in the meantime, man, where can people find you on social media? And if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
What is my Instagram? Deron_Winn. Yeah, I think it is Deron_Winn. And then I think on Twitter, I'm just Deron Winn. Everything's just Deron Winn, bro. I'm on Facebook, Deron Winn. And Louis said, "What's up, Violent Bob?"
Yeah, I heard him. It's so funny. I can pick out his voice. Yeah.
Yeah, and but I don't know. I have lots of great sponsors, bro. I can't even think of them right now, but
so great you can't remember.
I have a lot of great sponsors, but all in all, just everybody supports me. I have a great support system. I always have. I rave about this all the time. You see on a lot of my posts. I've had a great support system my whole life. So everybody out there who sees this, who supported me throughout even just my wrestling career when I was a kid, I love you guys. I truly do. I don't do this just for me. I do this for us.